On January 24, 2023, Patrick Clancy left his home in Duxbury, Massachusetts. He was collecting medicine and takeout food. Inside the house were his wife, Lindsay, and their 3 children, 5-year-old Cora, 3-year-old Dawson, and 8-month-old Callan. Less than an hour later, Patrick returned to a scene that would destroy his family. All 3 children had been fatally attacked. Lindsay was found severely injured outside after attempting to end her own life. What happened inside that house is largely undisputed. But more than 3 years later, a jury is confronting a far more difficult question. Did Lindsay Clancy deliberately murder her children? Or was she experiencing a mental disease so severe that she could no longer understand or control her actions? This is not only a trial about what happened. It is a trial about the condition of one person's mind when it happened. 3 children died. Their mother caused their deaths. But was it murder? Or a mind overtaken by illness? This is the story of Lindsay Clancy. Before January 2023, Lindsay Clancy was known as a mother and a labor and delivery nurse. She and Patrick were raising their 3 young children in the coastal town of Duxbury. Witnesses at her 2026 trial described her as loving, attentive, and deeply involved in her children's lives. But after Callan's birth in May 2022, Lindsay's mental health began to deteriorate. By September, she was experiencing anxiety, feeling overwhelmed and struggling with her baby's feeding routine. Her maternity leave was extended. Her sleep became increasingly disturbed. Over the following months, she consulted several medical providers and received numerous psychiatric prescriptions. According to the defense, she was prescribed 13 different medications over approximately 4 months. Her medical records and personal writings documented insomnia, anxiety, depression, emotional numbness, guilt, and what she described as brain fog. Patrick later testified that Lindsay disclosed thoughts involving herself and the children during the period before their deaths. She continued seeking professional help. But an important distinction now divides the courtroom. Her medical providers diagnosed conditions including anxiety, depression, and insomnia. The defense claims that a deeper illness, bipolar disorder and postpartum psychosis, was missed. That claim remains disputed. On New Year's Day 2023, Lindsay voluntarily entered McLean Hospital. During her 5-day stay, she reported severe symptoms, including insomnia, emotional numbness, and previous suicidal thoughts. A psychiatrist who treated her testified that Lindsay did not report a current plan to end her life and had not expressed an intention to harm anyone else. She was diagnosed with major depressive disorder without psychotic features and insomnia associated with her mental condition. The psychiatrist testified that she did not observe evidence of psychosis. Lindsay was discharged on January 5 with plans for continued treatment. 19 days later, the children were dead. The day before the deaths, Lindsay attended a virtual appointment with another psychiatrist. The doctor told the jury that Lindsay appeared depressed, lacked motivation, and described episodes of intense anxiety. But according to the testimony, Lindsay did not report hearing voices, having homicidal thoughts, or intending to end her life. The defense argues that these appointments reveal a fragmented medical system, multiple providers, repeated medication changes, incomplete communication, and no single professional seeing the entire pattern. Prosecutors emphasize a different conclusion. On January 24th, Patrick later testified, Lindsay appeared to be having one of her better days. The family played in the snow. They completed crafts. They exchanged photographs. They attended a medical appointment. That evening, Lindsay asked Patrick to collect takeout food. While he was away, she also asked him to stop at a pharmacy for medicine for one of the children. Prosecutors say those errands were deliberate. They argue that Lindsay sent Patrick far enough away to create the time she needed to attack all 3 children. The defense rejects that interpretation. It argues that ordinary family errands are being presented as evidence of planning only because investigators know what happened next. The jury must decide which interpretation the evidence supports. When Patrick returned, he found Lindsay critically injured outside the house following an attempted suicide. She directed him toward the basement. Patrick found the children and called 911. Police officers, firefighters, and paramedics rushed to the home. Cora and Dawson were pronounced dead that night. Callan was transported to hospital but died several days later. The investigation focused immediately on Lindsay. Authorities collected physical evidence, examined communications, and reconstructed the period when Patrick was away. Lindsay survived but was left paralyzed from the waist down. She was charged with 3 counts of murder and pleaded not guilty. Her lawyers do not dispute that she caused the children's deaths. Instead, they argue that she was not criminally responsible because of severe mental disease. That distinction is now the center of the trial. Lindsay Clancy's trial began at Plymouth Superior Court in July 2026. The legal issue is narrower than the public debate. Under Massachusetts law, the jury must consider whether a mental disease or defect deprived Lindsay of the substantial capacity to appreciate the criminality of her conduct or conform her behavior to the law. Having a mental illness does not automatically remove criminal responsibility. Appearing organized does not automatically prove that someone was legally responsible. The jury must determine Lindsay's condition at the precise time the children were killed. The prosecution says Lindsay acted intentionally. It points to the errands, the period Patrick was away, and evidence it says demonstrates planning and awareness. It also emphasizes testimony from clinicians who said Lindsay had not displayed psychosis during treatment. The defense says she was suffering from postpartum psychosis connected to an undiagnosed bipolar disorder and worsened by medication changes, severe insomnia, and inadequate coordination between providers. Her lawyer told the jury that Lindsay heard a male voice directing her to kill the children before ending her own life. Patrick testified that Lindsay later described such a voice to him. The prosecution may argue that the account emerged only after the deaths. The defense may argue that hallucinations are not always disclosed or recognized before a psychiatric crisis. Postpartum psychosis is a rare psychiatric emergency that can involve delusions, hallucinations, mania, confusion, or a profound break with reality. But this documentary cannot diagnose Lindsay Clancy. That responsibility belongs to the qualified experts giving evidence and, ultimately, to the jury applying the law. The testimony presented through August 8, 2026, revealed a complicated medical history. Clinicians agreed that Lindsay had serious symptoms. However, the doctors who treated her did not conclude before the deaths that she was psychotic. The defense has questioned whether providers possessed complete records, whether medication changes were properly coordinated, and whether critical warning signs were missed. The prosecution has emphasized Lindsay's repeated denials of homicidal intent and the absence of documented hallucinations during her appointments. The prosecution does not need to prove that Lindsay was mentally healthy. It must prove beyond a reasonable doubt that she was criminally responsible. The case leaves the jury with several difficult questions. Did Lindsay arrange Patrick's errands as part of a deliberate plan? Or were they ordinary family tasks later interpreted through the outcome? Did she understand that her actions were wrong? Could she control her conduct? Was the reported command hallucination genuine? And did the medical system fail to identify a rapidly developing emergency? These are not questions a documentary should answer before the jury. As of August 8, 2026, Lindsay Clancy's trial remains ongoing. The jury has heard from Patrick Clancy, first responders, medical personnel, friends, relatives, and psychiatrists involved in Lindsay's treatment. Additional testimony and expert evidence are expected. No verdict has been reached. If Lindsay is convicted of first-degree murder, she could face life imprisonment without parole. If she is found not criminally responsible, that would not necessarily mean immediate freedom. She could be evaluated and committed to a psychiatric facility. Whatever the verdict, it cannot restore Cora, Dawson, and Callan. And whatever the jury determines about Lindsay's legal responsibility, this case has exposed a question extending beyond one courtroom. How should families and medical systems respond when postpartum illness becomes severe, fast-moving, and difficult to recognize? M.O.R.T.E.M breakdown. Motive. No conventional motive has been established. Prosecutors contend that Lindsay intentionally killed the children, but no financial, retaliatory, or interpersonal motive has been identified. The defense says her actions were driven by an alleged command hallucination during postpartum psychosis. If accepted, that would describe the effects of mental illness rather than a rational criminal objective. Because the explanation remains disputed and no conventional motive has been proven, the motive rating remains extremely low. 1 out of 10. Operations. Prosecutors argue that Lindsay used the pharmacy and takeout requests to create a period when Patrick would be away from the house. The defense says these were ordinary errands and not evidence of advanced planning. There is no allegation of a lengthy scheme, complex preparation, escape plan, or sustained attempt at concealment. The rating reflects the prosecution's claim of situational planning without treating that disputed interpretation as established fact. 4 out of 10. Reach. The deaths occurred within one household but involved 3 exceptionally vulnerable victims. There is no allegation that Lindsay presented a continuing danger to the wider public or had committed similar acts previously. The human loss was immense, but the physical reach remained confined to the family home. 4 out of 10. Terror impact. The case devastated a family and affected the wider Duxbury community. It has also intensified public concern about postpartum psychiatric emergencies, fragmented medical care, and the possibility that severe deterioration may be misunderstood or missed. Its wider terror comes from the questions it raises about hidden mental illness, not from an ongoing threat to the public. 7 out of 10. Execution style. Prosecutors allege that the children were attacked during the limited period after Patrick left the house. However, there is no allegation of a sophisticated concealment strategy, planned escape, or effort to fabricate an unknown offender. The acts were direct, domestic, and catastrophic, but not operationally elaborate. 5 out of 10. Mindset. This is the central unresolved issue of the trial. The evidence documents anxiety, depression, insomnia, suicidal thoughts, medication changes, and deteriorating functioning. The defense claims postpartum psychosis, bipolar disorder, and a command hallucination. The clinicians who treated Lindsay testified that they did not observe psychosis before the deaths. Until the jury has heard the complete expert evidence, any confident conclusion about her legal or psychiatric state would be premature. 2 out of 10. Cora, Dawson, and Callan should be remembered as children, not merely as evidence in their mother's trial. Thank you for watching M.O.R.T.E.M. Subscribe for more factual crime documentaries examining the evidence, the psychology, and the pursuit of justice. Always remember to stay aware and stay informed.